Today, we're going to talk about poor people and how you can identify them. Even though it's the internet, brokies still make it obvious that they're broke. Some of them do an okay job at not seeming poor, but when you're as smart as me, you can almost always tell that they're actually a broke-ass nice person. So when looking at someone's Steam account, right away you have to find the red flags. First, what is their Steam level? If it's between level 100 and 1000, that is a red flag, but it's only a red flag if they've leveled up in the last 5 years. If their Steam account level is level 400, but it was leveled back in 2019 or 2020, then that's fine. No issue there. But if they've leveled up in the last 5 years and they're only level 200, 500, or 700, then they are most definitely broke. Anyone who still cares about Steam levels and actually wastes their money on a virtual number that hasn't mattered for 6 years is just someone compensating for the fact that they're poor and new. If someone is level 10 or level 20, they could be rich or poor or middle class. The mystery is there. We don't know. But if they're level 400 or whatever, then it removes all doubt. They've confirmed their brokie status. And it's actually pretty sad that they're waging a way to try to fool randoms on the internet, and still nobody believes it. Also, if they're over level 1000, they could still be broke, but just a dedicated wage slave. Past level 2000 is where the actual rich people are at. Next, we have Steam ID, or Vanity URL. If they don't have a Steam ID, then it's the same as before. It could go either way. Having an OG Steam ID that is anything other than a top-tier final is a red flag. It proves that they're not only a brokie, but a new gen. No one cares about OG Steam IDs, especially not low-tier or mid-tier ones. The only exception is if they've had that Steam ID for over 6 years. Then in that case, it's fine. It gets even worse though. We have brokies who are so broke, they can't even afford to buy a terrible ID, so they'll instead make up non-existent words and use plural versions of words that nobody uses, and they'll use a capital I or lowercase l to substitute the real version. They might as well be standing on a corner begging for money, because it really doesn't get any worse than this. Then we have the brokies who will use awful IDs, and then change their ID every week to another equally terrible one. Thankfully, Steam history tracks all of this, so if you see anyone with a bunch of URLs, you know they're poor. Ironically, not having a Steam ID is the best way to seem like you have money. As for Steam groups, if they're in any OG groups, whether low tier, mid tier, or final, they're broke. All groups now are completely worthless and meaningless. Even the God group, which used to have a ton of members, but all the members got kicked, so it could be rebranded into some cringe new-gen exclusive group that nobody cares about. Or the SimSwap group, which actually someone bought, and it was changed into a private group. Embarrassing. Anyway, Steam groups are all lame and you should leave all of them immediately. Now let's talk about actual Steam inventories. You know, CS2 items, TF2 items, maybe Rust items, or whatever. So this one is a bit trickier and not as black and white as the previous ones. If someone has a $500 knife and maybe some $20 or $30 skins for the rest, it doesn't mean they're broke, but it also doesn't mean they're rich. Maybe they just like that specific knife, which is unlikely, but a possibility. Although, let's be real, unless it's a karambit or butterfly or M9 bayonet, then they most definitely settled and bought something cheap because that's all they could afford. If they had the money, they would have bought something better. Who actually goes out of their way and buys a huntsman or gut knife or a flip knife? Literally no one likes those knives, and they're only in the game so poor people can have the chance to not have the default knife. But even if someone does have a karambit ruby or emerald, it doesn't mean they're rich. They might have unboxed it, or scammed someone, or gotten lucky gambling. This is why you can't take someone's inventory that seriously. Some brokies even rent skins, or buy skins they can't afford with the plan to sell them back later and get most of their money back. If someone has had expensive skins on their account for at least a year, then there's a good chance they're probably not a brokie. Anyone with a trade banned account in 2026 is a mega brokie. Trade banned accounts stopped being cool in 2020. Any year after that just screams poverty. Now for the comment section. If you're wondering how someone's comment section can possibly tell you if someone is broke or not, well, it actually is quite simple. If someone has comments that are in any language but English, then they're probably a third worlder. This is why it's important to keep your comment section clean. You can't have people with Turkish names commenting and bringing down your social status. All comments need to be in perfect English, no broken English allowed, and no ironic comments either. There's a saying that goes, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So only be friends and associate with other rich people. Which brings me to your friends list. If you have a bunch of high steam levels added, you're broke. I'm not talking about level 900 or level 1000 either. I mean actual high levels. The levels above 2000. Anyone who has Stastic added is a confirmed brokie. Poor people always flock to rich people. It's why people worship celebrities or billionaires like Elon Musk. They think if they breathe the same air as them, somehow some of their wealth will trickle down to them. Oy vey, worship people with money and maybe you too will have some of it someday. Well, the same applies to having any of the high steam levels added. None of them know who you are. They've never once messaged you or acknowledged your existence, yet here you are, adding them and flaunting the fact that you have them added on a video game website. If you have any high steam levels added, it's not too late to go remove them and save what little is left of your dignity. If you follow my advice, the respect you have for yourself will go up, and you'll realize that trying to impress random people over the internet won't get you anywhere in life or make you ever feel fulfilled.